You know, it's kind of funny when you look at Dragon Age. It's this series that started with a bang, a powerful one. This amazing game that was Origins, got amazing DLC after amazing DLC. It was perfect. And then 2 came around and it was decent enough, but it was the sign of bad things to come. And then of course you had 3, which sucked, and you can't really do much about it. But it didn't suck in the sense that Assassin's Creed Odyssey sucked. Like, Odyssey sucks compared to the Assassin's Creed games pre-Origins because it's not really an Assassin's Creed game. But overall, it's a decent game. Okay, Odyssey is a decent game. Inquisition is not that, and that's like the funny part. Inquisition is not even a decent game. And now we have Veilguard. I think it was supposed to be something with the wolf regarding Solas, but whatever, who cares about that part of the story? They probably just rewrote everything and just made this thing. And here's the funny thing about it. Dragon Age Inquisition feels like a different game, much in the same way Assassin's Creed Odyssey does, but it sucks. It feels like Inquisition was repurposed from another game and made this abomination. And when you look at Veilguard and you look at the designs for that, you look at the options for that, yeah, it kind of sucks. It's kind of clear that Veilguard was anything else but a Dragon Age game, and they just repurposed it as one because, you know what, they had to pull out a game. It's been so long since they released that trailer for the Wolf Time, whatever that was, and yeah, Dragon Age 4 has to come out eventually, right? And here we have this game with top scar surgeries and pronouns and stuff, and we're supposed to act like, oh, this is Dragon Age. I don't think there's a series that had such a massive fall off like Dragon Age. Okay, so you start with peak and then just keeps going down. It's just a direct falling line. It resembles many cryptocurrencies that were not as people expected them to be. It's like Logan Paul decided to open up a crypto and it just died in the second day. That is the trajectory that Dragon Age as a series has. And not even Assassin's Creed is that bad because 2 was good. Then you have the peak that was the Ezio collection. Then it kind of dipped with 3 but got up with 4. And then you had Rogue and Syndicate and Unity, who were decent. But you know, they couldn't really match to 4 or to the first or to the second because that's a way better game. And now here we have this abomination that is Dragon Age, who can't even get as good as Dragon Age 2. The series started to go down since Dragon Age 2 and it can't recover past that. And yeah, sure, you might blame Die, you might blame the woke stuff, and you would be correct in saying that. Let's be honest, you have an RPG where you put top scar surgeries on your character. Now, color me crazy, I hate character creation things, but how about this? If it's so important that you want to play as the opposite sex or a certain sex, I think it's pretty easy to just press the male or female buttons and that's it. That's the story. You want to play as a woman? Here's a woman. You want to play as a man? Here's a man. And that's basically it. Oh, but I like how they always have to add these pronoun stuff. That's always the funniest stuff ever. Oh, they, them pronouns. He, sir, whatever, Xar's pronouns. Which is kind of funny because games nowadays suck. And there are more scenes where characters are referring to your character as you, rather than talking in third person about your character, which makes pronouns irrelevant, first of all. Second of all, of course, woke die infestation, we already know that. That's clear. You can throw a rock in a modern game and you'll find or hit something that's like that. Nobody's surprised about that. Nobody's surprised that that's the reason why we have top scar surgeries and they them pronouns, including in games like Battletech or Starfield. Talk about a failure that is. But you know what? I'm not even upset. Because you might not know, but I did play through all the games and DLCs on this channel and so on. And I'm not upset. I love Dragon Age. Dragon Age was amazing. And at the end of the day, nothing will ever top Dragon Age Origins, okay? When we talk about peak BioWare, that's basically it. That is peak BioWare. Everything before that, no, excuse me. Everything after that, failure. disaster. Nothing worth mentioning or talking about. Oh, but Mass Effect is in the same realm as Dragon Age 2, okay? At the end of the day, it's just like Dragon Age 2. It's decent enough that you can play it and have a good experience, but it ain't peak. And BioWare will never see a peak again. That's basically it. With their whole infestation of the woke things in there, that's not gonna help either. And even if there weren't things, let's just pretend in a better universe, Veilguard got launch, release, whatever. There's no top scar surgeries, you have female or male buttons, everything is nice. Even if you didn't have the woke infestation in the game, it would still suck. And you know why? Because there are other examples. Andromeda's pretty much one of them, but okay, you can see even that was infested. Look at Dragon Age 2. Dragon Age 2, as decent as it is, it will never top Dragon Age Origins. Inquisition won't ever top Dragon Age 2, and yeah. Do you really think the fourth installment in a better world will be the salvation of Dragon Age? I doubt it. I doubt it. Sincerely, I doubt Veilguard would be the salvation of Dragon Age in any universe if the same trajectory is followed. Because again, it's like a crypto scam. Just keeps going down, and there are very few suckers still left in there, hoping that at some point things will just peak, just reach out a little, just go upwards. Ooh, big line go down. That's basically Dragon Age and how to explain this whole franchise overall. But yeah, the pronouns and the scars thing, funny. Nothing will beat that. Remember once they said you couldn't romance the scout in Dragon Age Inquisition because somebody got disgusted by pedophilia? And remember that the scout was a dwarf? And she was of age and stuff like that? Like, we're not talking about consent, we're talking about somebody that gets disgusted by little people and normal-sized humans having interactions with them. Then again, this is what Dragon Age is nowadays. And I think I read somewhere that they don't really care about the canon lore, which, okay, granted, Dragon Age was more based upon making your decisions and them going to the next game. Much like Telltale games if you think about it, but surprisingly, Telltale managed to die before all its games and franchises started to become a pariah, a laughingstock, a joke of a series that people point at just to make a mockery out of it. Because this is what Dragon Age is nowadays to the people that used to like it before. In the dark days of Origins and Awakening, when you had blood magic and reavers and all these nasty stuffs you can no longer have in the Veilguard. Now Veilguard looks like it was made by the creators of Wizards 101 or the first Fable team. It's like the same design from that. Remember the ogres, how terrifying they were in Origins? Well, they're not as terrifying in this game. Dragon Age is a laughingstock, and a laughingstock it would be. Again, not even in a perfect universe would this game be the salvation that the Dragon Age series and BioWare at the end of the day needs. Quite frankly, I think the only salvation that BioWare still has is to follow the same fate that Westwood Studios had, technically. No, I think the best idea is for EA to just take BioWare behind the barn and do what it did so many times before. Come on, BioWare. Going behind the barn, think of the bunnies, ignore all the gravestones we have there for all the studios we killed. I think that is mercy. I think that would be mercy for BioWare and Dragon Age and, you know, to an extent Mass Effect. That would be perfect. But we don't live in a perfect world. Because in a perfect world, we wouldn't be getting this abomination of a game. Alas, what can you do? Now, excuse me, I have a bad anime to watch. Oh, and before I end this tragedy of a video, and you know, it's a tragic comedy of a video if you ask me. Before I end it, I have to also talk about this point that really annoyed me, and that's the Kunari. We went from the Kunari being like stern, which was pretty cool of a character and everything like that, to the Kunari with bigger horns, which, okay, granted, that retcon works as it works. And now the Kunari look basically like, how do I say this without YouTube banning me? They look like incest babies. They look like what would happen if a brother and a sister decided to have a baby together. They made the Kunari so disgustingly looking, so awful, that quite frankly, they're not the Kunari anymore. You might just call it a different race, and I would believe you. Those are not supposed to be Kunari. Those are whatever the hell else you want. It might be a world or a planet or a continent where somebody is his own father and his own grandfather and his brother at the same time while sleeping with his cousin, aunt, grandma, sister. Okay, I don't care. Those are not Kunari. Those are horrible abominations to what Dragon Age used to be. And I'm a little bit annoyed about this one because I really hate it. It looks so awful. It makes no sense. The game would be better if it had no character customization. But alas, it does, and it made these abominations known as Kunari. So, good luck, Dragon Age Veilguard. You're gonna need it. Now back to my anime.